Hey everybody, Mr. Odom here, and I'm going to work at a problem from section 3.5. You'll need your pencil, composition book, or notebook paper, and a calculator. And the learning target for this video is I can solve equations. All right, so my first step when I'm solving equations is, let me write this down, 3/5 g minus 1/3 equals negative 10 over 3. So I'm going to show you two ways to solve this equation. The first way, I'm just going to use the process that we've learned so far. So let me add 1/3 to both sides. And that will leave me with 3/5 times g equals negative 10/3 plus 1/3 is going to give me negative 9/3. Okay. And negative 9/3, I already know negative 9/3 is equal to negative 3. So 3/5 times g equals negative 3. To get g by itself, I'm multiplying g by a fraction, so let me multiply by the reciprocal. Here is the reciprocal, 5 over 3. And I do that so that way all of these values cancel each other out, and I get g by itself. And over here, things are canceling out as well. And I have negative 1 times 5, which is just negative 5. All right. And so there's the answer to my problem. Here's another way that we can look at this problem. Just another way we can solve it. And that is, let me write it down, 3/5 g minus 1/3 equals negative 10 over 3. This time I want to use a distributive property. Let me multiply this equation by the least common denominator of all those fractions. Okay, and by doing so, I'm going to make these fractions go away. And let's see how this works. Well, 15, so I have 15 over 1 times 3/5 g. And then I have, again, 15 over 1 times 1/3. And again, I have 15 over 1 times 10 over 3. Okay. And we can go ahead and solve each one of these. So this would be 3 times 3, which is 9g. Here, the 3 cancels with the 15, and I'm just, why did I put an equal sign there? That was weird. So I'm subtracting 5, and that equals, and then here I can cancel, that's 1, and that's 5, and then this is negative 50. All right, so let's go ahead and we can continue with this problem now. It's a two-step equation, and I can go ahead and add 5 to both sides. And I end up with 9. That doesn't even look like a 9. 9g equals negative 45. Divide both sides by 9. And that cancels, and I end up with g equals negative 5. So I just do this to point out that there's more than one way to solve some of these equations. Don't be afraid to try new ways, but just make sure you show your work and make sure it makes sense, and make sure you're using the properties that we've learned. I've used a distributive property here, which we have learned before. This is also the multiplication property of equality being used because I'm multiplying this side of the equation by 15 and this side of the equation by 15. Okay, and then I'm using the same process to solve this two-step equation here. And I get the same answer. So there you go. Hopefully that was a little helpful for you. This is Mr. Odom. Have a good day, and off I go.